NTV.
All right, let's get to the big story. And on the big story this morning, we ask a question. Is the police directive legal? The police yesterday issued a directive, one of those interesting directives, and they are saying a couple of things. One, members of parliament can only consult in their constituencies. That's the whole ongoing consultations about the age limit bill, so it has been called. One, they cannot consult in other constituencies except theirs. Excuse me. Two, there should be no joint consultations, meaning if I am an MP and Patricia Twasima is an MP, I see her smiling, you must love the title. We shall make you an MP someday.
I don't actually.
So Patricia and I cannot go to say my constituency together or to her constituency together. That's what police is saying. And of course there's another, and as I was speaking to the commander of Metropolitan Police, I was saying, look, instruction number 3, which says that those that are, I'll read it, just, you know, to give very clear context to what I am saying. But many folks are reacting to this directive, and a couple of eyebrows have been raised. Some people are saying this has got problems. Others are saying, look, police has got to organize and give direction, if you like, to this whole thing. So where does it end? We will try and see how things go. Anyway, as I open this up, we'll begin the discussion. I'm still here with Patricia Twasima, a lawyer, and Bernard Sabiti. He is a political analyst. Bernard, let me begin with you. What did you make of this directive?
Well, we are back to 2014, 15. Remember when Amama Mbabazi decided to have consultations? We had, you know, issues around the language there, because the police was saying you can only consult a certain way. And I think that's really something weird. Because how do you define, how do you even set parameters on what a member of parliament has to say when they go for consultations? Because we have to remember that these are politicians. So definitely their consultations are going to be political. So if you say that, first of all, you cannot have anyone escorting you, that's also weird. Because if I'm going to my constituency and I have a friend, an MP who shares my beliefs, which law are we breaking if I ask him to come with me, to escort me? So this is becoming almost funny in a way. It's like during the walk to work days, I remember Saram Musumba was walking and the police stopped her. And I remember what the police lady said to her was, "Madam, why are you walking? Don't you have a car?" And Salam was like, so what authority do you have to ask me to use my vehicle or not? And I think this is where really the opposition becomes smart and they box the police and the authorities into a corner. Because how do you define these things? If somebody decides to consult by speaking or by singing, then, I mean, how do you define consultation? I think the police really, all this is about is making sure that a certain view of this debate is not allowed to proceed compared to the other view.
Okay, this is the one that I was talking about. Number 3, point number 3 of this directive, consultations must not include the following. And part G of that number 3 must not include intimidation of persons perceived to be supporting the removal of the age limit. Now,
So
I told the police command,
taken aside.
that's precisely what I was saying. I was saying, by the way, this is correct, that those who are supporting the removal of the age limit should not be intimidated, they should not be beaten. That's correct. But I said, wait a minute. So where in this directive is the bit that those who are against the removal of the age limit should not be intimidated, should not be beaten? And I gave the example of Masaka. What happened in Masaka, I think 2 days ago? There are some about 3 or so young men that were wearing these red ribbons and they were moving through the trading center somewhere. And then goons came from nowhere with big sticks and they began to beat them up to pulp. And eventually police came. I actually thought police was going to arrest the goons. No, it arrested the 3 or 4 guys, I don't know how many they were, thereabout, that, you know, were wearing red ribbons. And I thought, wait a minute. So your concern is only those who are supporting the removal, you have no concern at all for those who are for the staying of the constitution as it is. I don't know. What do you see with this?
I think that's even where the unlawfulness of this whole directive comes into place, because police is not obviously looking to protect or to maintain law and order or anything like that. They are looking to make sure that the views of those who are pro-lifting the age limit go undisputed, basically unchallenged, you understand? And so first of all, I don't see how police can tell a member of parliament how to consult in a even if they have a constituency that they want to go to, even if I don't understand how you can say, you know what, Joel Senyonyi, since you come, I'm assuming, since you come from Bushenyi and Twasima,
come from
I'm just saying, you know, and Twasima comes from Mitoma, very, very close. You cannot go together and consult on this issue. Why? I don't think that police has that mandate legally, number one. Two, I think that police needs to step away from this partisan politics, because I don't think that it helps Ugandans, for the people who are supposed to be protecting and serving them, to be involved in petty squabbles aimed at just self-benefiting, I think.
This is the impact of having ridiculous laws passed. So when you pass ridiculous laws, in most cases, because you
can talk about Poma?
Yes.
Yeah.
But where in Poma does it say that you should do some of these things? And the other thing, of course, you see, a member of parliament, you can be a member of parliament for Mitoma. But you see, when you take an oath, you're taking an oath of parliament of Uganda.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And so you become a national MP, so to speak. That's why you make laws, not just for Mitoma,
for Uganda,
for the whole of Uganda. Me, Nakasongola, will be affected as well. So at the end of the day,
and I think when Nikita said that, she was sorry. Yesterday she was saying, when people speak to me, someone from another district comes and says, you know what, yes, you are MP because your views are our views. And I think that it's important to remember that these MPs are not just representing necessarily their constituencies' views. They are representing the whole national objective and the national views. And so for me, when I see an MP whose views resonate with mine, I don't understand why they should not be allowed to have consultations, to have meetings, to tour. It's basically just a gag.
But you remember, you know, the president goes to campaign for candidates across the country. Friendly MPs go to support their colleagues when they are by-elections, for example. This is normal practice. And in fact, in developed democracies, like candidates, colleagues going to fundraise for fellow members of Congress, for example, it's common practice. But here, you see, let's not forget what this is about. I think the police, under the veneer, under the pretense of trying to show that this whole process is going to be participatory, they said we are going to allow consultations. But in actual sense, they do not want, because they know how unpopular this debate is of removing the clause. So what they are trying to do is to have both their cake and to eat it at the same time. So they want to show the world that, oh, this wasn't one man's idea. It is being debated freely. At the same time, they don't want to allow that freedom of people expressing themselves around the whole debate. So you can't have it both ways. Let the government decide that we are going to change this, you know, haphazardly through parliament, and they don't bother the people, because we don't want to see our people dying for no reason. If you really don't want to hear what people have to say, why are you wasting time going to and spending an enormous amount of money? 436 MPs being given 29 million to go and consult.
It's 29 now.
Yes,
we
it's
had
29.
20 the last time.
And it's
Other of course, I've said it's $1 billion shillings for each MP. I don't know where these things are coming from.
By the way, that's a lot of money. 12 billion shillings. That's nearly $3 million. And you spend that money, and then you go again and you stop people from going to spend it for the reason you gave it to them. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I do think that obviously it's very, very clear where police stands on this. Unfortunately, I do think that, listen, police needs to just stop this dilly-dallying, because one, that directive is unlawful. What legal anything do they have to back it up, right? Secondly, it doesn't make sense, even if we are moving away from the legal aspect, it doesn't make sense to say that as an MP, you can say this, you cannot say this. And also because this whole debate about this amending of 102 is extremely dear to a lot of Ugandans' hearts. So, of course, a lot of things are going to be said in between, a lot of anger, a lot of emotions, and whatever are going to rise. I don't see how that is police's problem. Police should be now saying, okay, how do we allow you to go and have a consultation and make sure that the parameters are safe and make sure no one gets killed and make sure no tear gas is fired. Things like that are what they should be concerned about, because this debate is extremely political. You cannot say what I should say, how I should explain to people the consequences of this. And so I think that...
Why did even the police become such a prominent stakeholder
in this conversation?
Yeah. Well, they'll tell you they are keeping law and order. They need to make sure, as MPs concerned...
Give me a break. Give me a break. Oh, how come that in the other normal consultations MPs do? But remember, they get constituency development fund and they get mileage and what to go back.
Actually, the fund was scrapped, but they get mileage
they do get facilitation
every week. Yeah, sure.
To go. Yeah. When did you hear the police making a big fuss about how they are accompanying MPs? It's because the terms of the debate now and the topic is different and sensitive. This is why the police is so out there in this whole, which I think is even not necessary. If there is anyone to set the parameters of this debate, it shouldn't be the police. The police is not the courts. Yeah. It doesn't have the authority to define anything. They just need to make sure that there is peace. That's all. But now they are writing papers, guidance, guidelines.
Actually, by the way, this thing wasn't meant for the media, but it leaked. We in the media have a way we get things. So this goes to us. It wasn't meant to be out there. And now I've seen Hassan Kasinje, the police spokesperson, he's written something to try and sanitize it, as if he's not exactly rescinding the other one, but he's as if trying to calm the storm. But
I don't see how you can calm this storm, to be honest, because I think that, and thank God it leaked, because now we know what police is thinking and where their head is at, and I think that every Ugandan now needs to be concerned about how police reacts, and why we need to ask, why is police so partisan? Because I don't understand this conversation. I don't see why police is leading this conversation, banning musicians / MPs, dictating what and who should go where, what and who should say what.
They will soon dictate what I have to speak with my family over dinner.
And they've told you can't wear this, you can't wear... Yeah, that's
this is where we are headed. And by the way, Joel, I think the big picture explanation of this is we have a hybrid regime in power that has decided that it has to maintain that power at all costs. So all the gymnastics and the shenanigans you are seeing are all geared towards realizing that goal. I think Mr. Museveni has decided that he's not going anywhere anytime soon, and the security services have to do anything necessary, whatever is necessary, any means necessary, to make sure that that is the case. And so the police and the other security agencies are working from the, from backwards, if you like, to make sure that this is the reality. But people need to be conversant of the dangers to this, like what we saw in Rukunjiri. Because you see, the forces at the field, the front line, they really do not know. You could clearly see that the chain of command is not clear. They do not know what to do. Because there is an order that came from the so-called the famous above, just don't let these people. So how are they supposed to enforce or to police these definitions of this debate?
Well, good question. Let's let the viewers share their thoughts as well. The number to call is on your screen. Please, when you call, do lessen the volume on your TV set. I know some of you like to hear yourselves on TV. Unfortunately, we get feedback and we cannot communicate. So do that, and please make your contribution as quick and brief as it possibly can be, so that we get a number of them. All right, let's see if there's somebody there. Hello, good morning. Okay, we'll get to that in a bit. How do we move forward now with this? Because like you're saying, police is coming out very clearly with the stand that they have taken, and they're not backing down. The politicians are going to proceed with whatever it is. Okay, there seems to be somebody there. Hello, good morning. Okay, so police is proceeding with what they are doing, and politicians are saying, we are going to keep doing what we believe is the right thing to do. How do you folks see this end?
Hello, morning, Joel.
Good morning. What's your name, sir? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning. Okay, we seem to have lost that person. Let's try somebody else. Hello, good morning. Hello?
Good morning. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
What's your name, Sebo?
Yes, you're speaking to Gaddafi from Pakwach.
Gaddafi from Pakwach.
Yeah.
Yes, is this the Gaddafi of the NRM Youth Council?
No.
Okay, somebody else. All right, that's all right. Share your thoughts with us, Gaddafi.
Yeah, I'm really saying that I don't know where Uganda is heading, because that's being so awkward to the whole nation if at all the police behave in that manner, sir.
Okay, thank you for sharing your thoughts, Gaddafi.
All right, sir.
That's Gaddafi there. Awkward position he feels we are in. Hello, good morning.
Yes, morning, Judah.
Good morning. What's your name, sir?
This is Hassan again. Hassan.
Yes, Hassan.
Yes. Mr. Joel, we are working.
Hassan, I'm struggling to hear what you're saying. I don't know if it's our line here or yours the other side. But anyway, keep speaking. Let's see if we can pick up what you're saying. Go ahead. Hello?
Hello,
Good morning. What's your name?
I'm Alex from Uganda.
Alex from Uganda. Talk to us, Alex.
In Uganda, exactly, we don't have democracy.
We don't have what?
Democracy in Uganda.
We don't have democracy.
Yeah.
President Museveni says that his government organizes elections every 5 years, and you Ugandans get to choose. And that is democracy.
Yeah. We just assume and pose negatively that we are democratically electing, yet we are just wasting just our time. Side time we surrender, we take it for, go back to the early days of where they used to be, the winner, the powerful government takes over. Until when God decides, we need a savior like who can rise and
I think
Okay, Alex, thank you for sharing your thoughts there.
We have a pessimistic view of the future of this country.
He says we need a savior who can just come in and
hello, good morning.
save us.
Okay, we lost that person. We'll attempt to pick two others. Hello? Good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name, ma'am? It's good to hear from a lady.
This is Viola.
Viola. If my colleagues can hope to shoot the sound up, we are having trouble hearing our good people. Yes, Viola, go ahead.
Whereby the parents said that the police in fact is more accurate, because whatever is appearing on TV, there is no difference between saying that police is not having us, it's really having us.
Yeah.
You can see their own witness and Tungam. They were how even the police state rejected it was into the police pushing, and they show it clearly that there was a policeman who shoot, they circled him in a red circle.
Okay, thank you, Viola, for sharing your thoughts.
I think she's basically said that police cannot pretend to not have a side anymore in this issue.
She feels they've taken his side.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Stuart, this is Hassan again.
Come again?
This is Hassan again.
Yes, Hassan.
Hassan. Yes. Joel, we are crying. We are bleeding inside our hearts.
What should be done, Hassan?
What's happening? Yes. We are bleeding. We are bleeding inside our hearts. We are crying. What's happening in our country?
Okay, thank you for sharing your thoughts, Hassan.
Wow,
Reminds me of the book of Lamentations.
This is amazing. Yes, yes, and that's the desperation. People now believe that there's nothing else they can do, and that's a dangerous point to be.
Okay, let's pick perhaps one more caller and we'll wrap it up. Or two. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name, Chief?
I'm Odongo from Gulu.
Odongo from Gulu. How's Gulu, Odongo?
Gulu is cool.
All right. Talk to us in 20 seconds, Odongo.
Yes, I'm saying people failed in Yugoslavia.
People failed too?
We have failed. People failed in Yugoslavia. Now, if we fail to know that we fail and time doesn't fail, time will take care of things. Thank you.
Thank you, Odongo.
This is referring to the 1956 attempted uprising, of which, of course, the Soviet Union crashed and a lot of people were killed. But it was an important moment in the history of the crumbling of the Soviet Union. I hope people can understand that backstory to that important point he's making right there.
Okay. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you. What's your name, sir?
Is this the TV?
Yes, it is. What's your name, Sabo?
I'm Charles.
Yes, Charles.
I think my view would be that I think this government should just scrap everything, like let's not waste time and money to go into elections, take elections. You know, this affects now Constitution. The Constitution has now turned to be for just one party, you know, political party. It's no longer in the national Constitution.
Okay, thank you for sharing your thoughts, Charles.
I think that people are just...
They've lost all hope.
What do you want them to do?
But you see, the last point from Charles, that the president just be openly dictatorial, you know. But you see, I've said on this show before that there is a reason that we have a hybrid regime, not entirely authoritarian, where there are pockets of participatory governance, but when at the core, such a regime is actually a dictatorship. This is the system we have. And it is important for the leaders that run this country to show that, because if they go all out clear, dictatorial, of course, you know what the West will say, oh, no more money, then, you know. And then the people, and so on. Exactly. And then the people, there's this lie that people will keep believing, oh, at least I can go to the voting booth and select a leader. But which Amin, you know, Amin, he had no parliament. He ruled by decree. And there are people who believe that there is almost no difference, save for the fact that the death, the kind of violence that Amin perpetrated is not happening now. But when we have laws, which are almost not laws, what's the difference? I think that's the point he's trying to make, which obviously is a sad situation that we've reached at a stage where we are saying, oh, by the way, why can't he openly be like other dictators? You know, do away with the rule of law. Rule by decree, because there is no difference, because that will even save us money. These useless processes of going apparently to ask people, is the life presidency okay? Which really is a ridiculous question, because they know the answer. The polls have shown that, but they have again to show, to do this farce to kind of show that, oh, this was the people's idea. You see, revolutionaries are obsessed with people. They want the people. And once a politician is trying to make a point and they start with the statement, the people have said, then you know there's something wrong there.
Okay, I know we're talking about the directive of police, but it's tethered to, you know, this whole age limit debate. The president has come out clearly to say he's backing this. He told cabinet, he told the NRM caucus. What do you make of what will happen and what kind of election we shall have, Patricia, in 2021, if and when his name is on that ballot paper for presidency?
And if President Museveni's name is on that ballot box, let me just say that I personally will be extremely disappointed. But
will you vote?
I will vote, yes. But I will be very, very disappointed in him, because for me, it's extremely disappointing to see him turn into the man and the leader that he was once so anti, you know. And I do hope, I don't see it happening, but I can only hope that somewhere in the near few weeks that he will begin to actually reason and understand that it's extremely important that his name doesn't appear on the next ballot box, that he gives this nation a chance to transition, that he gives new leadership and a new league of just like, can he please hand over power? But I do think that if he does stand, there will be no difference. I do think that he will win because he will have the entire muscle of the state.
So why would you vote then? I've had some people say, look, if he's on the ballot paper, I won't vote because my vote doesn't count. But you say, I'll exercise my voting rights and I'll go and vote. But you're saying you know who the winner will be, so...
Yeah, because I think that it's the hope. Because I really don't want to end up into a very cynical person. I would like to believe that things can change and do my part. All
right, do your part. Will you vote, for example, if he's on that ballot paper?
I always vote, yes. I can vote down the ballot. Yeah, for MPs where I know my vote will have impact.
Talking about presidency.
Well, it will depend on the situation then. But what I'm saying, Joel, I think we are in a very complicated period right now. I think this debate over age limit is going to lead to a lot of violence. I think what you saw yesterday in Rukunjiri is just small stuff. Because you have a determined population and the opposition.
And you have a determined president.
Exactly. So this can only lead to violence. And as I was saying in the beginning, I know we have the right to protest, but I also want us to be smart. I want these kids to go home after the rally. Okay? Please do not confront an armed law enforcement officer. I'm just let me say
it happens like that.
Please, please.
Now, when we should be ending the discussion.
I want you to go home at the end of the day so that you can begin the protest again tomorrow. You see, that's being smart.
Okay, so what he's saying is that I live to fight another day.
Yeah, but I don't think that that burden is on citizens who are protesting. You understand? Because I don't think that any of them are going directly to antagonize or to attack the police. So I don't see how we can continuously ask them to be non-violent when they are not.
So they should be violent,
but they're not the perpetuators of the violence in the first place. That's what I'm saying, is that they're not the perpetrators of violence. So then I don't see why we continuously appeal and say, citizens, don't be violent. They're not the ones who are violent.
All right, the discussion has to end. We'll pick it up some other time.
Try to be a matter.
We have heard both sides. Bernard is saying, look, be extremely careful. Patricia is saying, go out there, fight for your rights. And Joel Sanyonyi is saying, that's the end of the show. Morning at NTV continues shortly. Good morning.